So hello friends, welcome to my channel once again, RK English Academy on English literature, English language teaching and education. Today we shall learn about literary groups. It is based on poets. Yes friends, literary groups of different kinds of poets. We have so many poets in our history of English literature. So today we shall learn about some of the poets, some of the groups of different poets. Yes. So let's move on. So here is the list of different poets, a different group of poets in the history of English literature. First one is Metaphysical Poets, Graveyard School of Poets, Pre-Raphaelite School of Poets, Spenserian Poets, Cavalier Poets, First Generation Romantics and Second Generation Romantics. First one is Metaphysical Poets. There are 7 different metaphysical poets were there. I have created one shortcut trick to remember these poets. It is like DCCHVMT. Yes, friends. In full form, we can see D for John Donne, C for Abraham Cowley, C for once again C for Richard Creshaw, H for George Herbert, V for Henry Vaughan, M for Andrew Marvell, and T for Thomas Traherne. Yes, DCCHVMT. It is the shortcut trick to remember these poets for a long time. Yes, John Donne was called the monarch of wit from these poets. He was the leader of metaphysical school of poets. The name metaphysical is given by John Dryden to the poetry of John Donne. Later it was popularized by Samuel Johnson. Yes. Another one is Graveyard School of Poets. The shortcut trick to remember these poets are PBGY, as we can say PUBG. Yes, in the form of PUBG we can remember this. So PBGY, P for Thomas Parnell, B for Robert Blair, G for Thomas Gray, and Y for Edward Young. This group was also termed as churchyard poets. Graveyard poetry is meditative poems. It is full of grief and gloom, skulls and coffins set in the background of a graveyard. Also recognized as the precursors of Gothic writing in English. The best of this poetry was Thomas Gray's Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard, published in 1751. It is inspired by the death of Gray's friend Richard West. On the death of Richard West, Thomas Gray wrote this elegy. Another one is Pre-Raphaelite School of Poets, also also known as the School of Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Yes, the shortcut trick to remember these poets is RMHMS. Yes, R for D.G. Rossetti, Dante Gabriel Rossetti, M for John Everett Millais, H for William Holman Hunt, M for William Morris, S for E.C. Swinburne. These are the founders of this Free Raphaelite Society in 1848. Also started periodical titled The Germ in 1850. The most famous poem was D.C. Rossetti's The Blessed Demoiselle. They believed in the theory of art for art's sake. It is a pictorial poetry with painting effect. It is highly musical poetry. Robert Buchanan called the Pre-Raphaelite poetry as fleshly school of poetry. It is very important. Fleshly school of poetry. This phrase is given by Robert Buchanan to this Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Another one is Spenserian Poets. 5 different Spenserian poets we can find. It is FFBWD, the shortcut trick. F for Phineas Fletcher and once again F for Giles Fletcher. These are 2 brothers actually. Then B for William Brownie, W for George Wither, D for William Drummond. Yes. So FFBWT. These poets imitated the style and themes of Spenser's poetry in their poetry. Yes. That's why they are called the Spenserian poets. So once again, Phineas Fletcher, Giles Fletcher, William Brownie, George Wither, and William Drummond. These are the these are called Spenserian poets. Another one is Cavalier poets. SHCL. Yes, it is the shortcut trick to remember them. S for John Suckling, H for Robert Herrick, C for Thomas Carew, L for Richard Lovelace. Yes, these poets were called as Cavaliers because of their loyalty and support to Charles Swan. Use direct and colloquial language. Yes, friends, they used direct and colloquial language in their poetry. Their poetry reflect lighter side of life. So this is for Cavalier poets, HSCL. Yes. The next one is first generation poets, also known as first generation romantics. These poets were around 1798. They wrote different poetry around 1798. These poets are William Blake, William Wordsworth, Robert Southey, and S.T. Coleridge. The first generation writings were inspired by the Battle of Bastille and the French Revolution. Their writing shows revolutionary feelings. The last one is second generation poets, also called second generation romantics. Their poetry we can see around 1820. Lord Byron, P.B. Shelley, and John Keats. These three were the main second generation poets or second generation romantics. They used imagination a lot in their poetry. So friends, that's all for today. We have seen 7 different types of groups of poets. In part 2, we shall see about some more poets. Thank you and Jai Hind.